everybody and welcome to my new YouTube channel. Today I thought I would share a bit about how I mount and wrap a piece ready for sending to the client. So here is lovely Border Collie Jess. I start off by cleaning the portrait. I'm just using a putty eraser here to get rid of any marks around the outside. Here is the mount board I'm using. I get all my mount boards from eBay in set sizes, and these dictate the sizes of portraits that I do. So I make sure that it's centered and where I need to be, and then I use some framers tape, which is acid free, to attach the portrait just at the top. Now I only attach at the top and I make sure it's secure, to make sure that my portrait can move freely within the mount, which means if it needs to expand or anything due to heat, that's not a problem. This is more of a thing with drafting film than with pastel mat, but it's a good habit to get into. So here you can just see that I am getting this ready. I've got a sheet of glassine there as well to make sure there's no smudges appear on my desk. I give the mount an extra little clean just to make sure that everything's ready. This client requested that the dog's name, her proper name, she's a working sheepdog, was added to the mount, so I'm just adding that here. It's not something I do very often. I don't particularly like my writing, but in this case I did do that. Next I add the backing board, which I'm just sliding in here. This keeps the portrait extra safe. Now, as this portrait is pastel, I'm going to wrap the whole thing in glassine. So glassine is great for pastel, it stops any smudging, and it means that in transit there's no way that the portrait's going to be ruined. Also, I like to wrap in cellophane, as you'll see in a bit, and cellophane can pull pastel off the surface, so again glassine just protects this. I have a sheet of 50 by 70 glassine, and I just use a bit of Scotch magic tape to attach it to the back of the portrait, back of the mount block, so it's not going to move anywhere when it's all wrapped up. My next part is my certificate of authenticity. I have these printed out and I just fill them in by hand for each portrait. I use the name, the date the portrait was completed, the medium and size so it can be recognised in the future, and then lastly I sign it, and then I tuck this in with the portrait. Next is the cellophane wrap. As I mentioned, I buy my mounts as a set with the backing board and the cellophane, so they all come together in various sizes. This just helps keep it extra safe when it's being sent, and it's also waterproof, being cellophane. I am hoping in the future to swap it to a compostable cellophane, but at the moment this is just standard cellophane. Here I've swapped to a different angle for you so you can see a little bit better what's going on. So here I'm getting all my supplies for wrapping. I've got some tissue paper, some ribbon, and again the Scotch magic tape and my business card. What I'm doing here, I'm just pre-preparing the magic tape that I'm going to need so it's all ready, and I'm not trying to do this at the same time. And I'm going to make the portrait look all nice, ready for when it arrives with its new owner, so that it looks smart and professional. If I was doing a smaller portrait, I'd only need one sheet of tissue paper. This is a larger portrait, it's 16 by 20, so I actually need 2 sheets for this. It can take a little bit of messing around to get the right sizes that you need, and this bit can be a little bit fiddly, but it's well worth doing. I'm just lining up the different pieces here, and I'll fold it over and wrap it rather like I was wrapping a gift. It's really important that this is done neatly. Remember, first impressions are always important, and this is the first impression that the clients are going to get when they see the portrait, when they open the parcel. So I try and make sure it's done as neat as possible. And I find the magic Scotch tape really great for this because it's almost invisible and blends in on the tissue paper. And make sure the ends are all folded in neatly. The tissue paper can crease a bit sometimes, so just making sure it's done properly. And then I take my ribbon and make sure I've cut enough ribbon. And again, I wrap this up like it's a little gift with a little bow. It's just how I've always done mine. There's different methods you can use. It's up to you how you want to present it. This is just how I like to do mine. And then I finish off the look by adding my business card as if it's a little tag on a present. And then again, as this is pastel, I add my pastel care sheet. This explains how they need to frame or look after their pastel with it being slightly more fragile. And it's a really important part, so I make sure that I stick that to the front so it can't be missed. And that is how I prepare all my pieces ready for wrapping. From here, it can then be posted out to the client. And here it is. Here is the finished portrait of Jess, all nicely presented. And from here, it can be popped into a box and posted out, ready to be opened by the client.